Venezuela-Guyana dispute. Maduro mobilizes the army and announces annexation of Essequibo.
Here's a summary of the article.
2 days after the referendum on Essequibo, a territory disputed between Venezuela and Guyana, the government of Nicolas Maduro is moving forward to try to enforce what was approved Sunday in a vote that registered almost no participation in the streets but which Chavismo hailed as a victory with 10.4 million voters, reawakening a crisis of credibility in the country's electoral authorities. In a television appearance Tuesday, Maduro presented a new official map of Venezuela with Essequibo incorporated, without the disputed delimitation, during a Council of State in which he announced a series of measures and upcoming legislation to cement Caracas' possession of the territory and its resources. Maduro has instructed the state oil company PDVSA to draw up a map of exploration and exploitation of the resources in Essequibo and ordered the National Assembly to draft a law prohibiting oil concessions granted by Guyana in the territorial sea to be delimited. The dispute dates back to 1777. When the Captaincy General of Venezuela included the 159,500 square kilometer region into a map of the country despite the territory not having been occupied by Venezuela either when it was part of the Spanish Empire or after independence. Guyana and its allies, we are very concerned that President Maduro and the government of Venezuela can use their own internal scenario and internal politics to create an instability within our region, to create fear and terror within the hearts and minds of their neighbors, said Guyanese President Mohamed Irfan Ali Tuesday in an interview with France 24. Ali pointed out that both countries are bound to the process of the International Court of Justice, which resulted in the Geneva Agreement of 1966 by decision of the Secretary-General of the United Nations after decades of unsuccessful negotiations and despite the fact that Venezuela has insisted that the instance does not have jurisdiction to settle the dispute. Brazil, which shares a border with both Venezuela and Guyana, has also expressed concern over the escalation of the territorial dispute.
This post received a score of 7,900, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
WTF. That's more than half of Guyana.
Yeah, about 2/3.
If Russia-Ukraine war has shown us anything is that the might over right is more alive than ever.
Guyanese Defense Force has about 5,000 people. It's really not even a fight without another country helping him directly.
I believe I have read France, which is next door, and Brazil have offered support.
You could give them all the support in the world, but you can only arm 5,000 people so much. The only way Guyana could defend itself is if someone else directly intervened to save them.
The only passable route between Venezuela and Guyana runs through Brazil, and they've already mobilized troops to that area in case they try passing through to reach Guyana. So either Venezuela tries invading on foot through a mountainous rainforest or they get thwacked by the Brazilians at the border.
Thwacked is such a great word. They should start using thwacked instead of slam in headlines.
Look at them anti-imperialists. LMFAO. Guy with mustache that wears a beret and strong-arms his country into bankruptcy with large deposits of oil wants to go to his next-door neighbor that has significantly less population and land so he could take control of its oil. It's basically Iraq with trees.
We didn't get to do imperialism when it was hip.
Everything old comes around again. Let's party like it's 1899.
Is it my imagination, or is every other world leader a total tyrannical asshole these days?
I will say, I remain deeply skeptical Venezuela will actually do anything. 10,000 starving men can easily lose to 1,000 well-equipped men. Then there's the question of foreign intervention. The USN and USAF could cripple Venezuela's oil industry in about 4 hours with a couple of well-placed JDAMs. And despite the strained relations, the US is still Venezuela's largest trading partner.
Greater than, and then there's the question of foreign intervention. Brazil should be the primary guarantor of peace, but I can't recall a time they've initiated a mass deployment abroad. Our last mass deployment, 25K, was back in WW2 when our expeditionary force, FEB, deployed in Italy fighting for the Allies, so yeah. Brazil's kinda rusty. The only way Brazil throws its hat on the ring is if the Venezuelans try to cross through Roraima, which is actually the safest route to Essequibo, then the military will go crazy and Lula will be forced to act.
Brazil historical apathy to South Am events while talking about faraway topics demonstrates the inability of Itamaraty to influence. Brazil is an out-to-lunch giant.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.